All right, what is going on, y'all? I'm out here today at First Baptist Church of Augusta. I'm partly going to be out here because we're adding 9 new baskets out here to this course. So we're going to have 2 baskets on each hole. But I'm also out here because today is, it's beautiful. It's like 75 degrees, but there's a ton of wind, which playing in the wind is a kryptonite for me. So I thought I'd get out here and practice some on a pretty short course. And so gonna test out, maybe get some ace runs, see if we can ring one up on this very windy day. But let's have some fun out here today. All right, stepping up here to hole 180 foot, just straight ahead there. I've got 2 new Zone SS's. Actually, this one's not. You saw this in a previous video, but I've got a Crystal Flex Zone SS and an ESP Flex. Haven't thrown the ESP Flex yet, but very windy day. Throw these as a couple warm-ups and we'll get started. Everything you expect out of a Zone SS there. That one is hitting the pole. Oh my goodness, how did that not go in? And that one wants to flip. All right, we're gonna go with some of my actual shots here. We're gonna go with this new, I think this is Z-Flex Sparkle. See how this does. It might just go in the basket. Woo! And then my actual play, Zone OS. Keep it a little lower, get it up on the hill, that's all you need. Oh. Okay, got the Zone OS up here. This would be my actual play on this hole. Got it about, I don't know, 15 feet, but first putts of the day. And this wind is crazy. Yeah, there we go. All right, so what I'm thinking about doing for hole 1 with the new basket is I'm gonna clear out these trees right here. We got a nice little mound back here and have this be a longer placement up on this hill. So you got the option to go straight at it. Again, we're gonna clear out a good number of this. And then you also have the option to go over the top with either a forehand, kind of a stall backhand, kind of helicopter shot. So it should be pretty fun. So we're gonna clear this out. We're gonna put the basket up on that hill. All right, y'all, we are on to hole 2, which is 220 feet. My sign has fallen down, so I'm gonna have to get that put back up. But nice little forehand or a backhand shot. I'll show you where the alternate basket is gonna be. I'm gonna go with a machete. I've started going with this just mainly because of the wind, but also my captain's raptor is starting to get a little more broken in. We're gonna let this person walk by first, just because the wind is crazy and I don't want it to take it and smack this person in the head. That should be amazing. If it gets there, yep, machete just knifes right through that wind. All right, let's go with some backhands now. Got a left to right kind of tailwind. And it just is hammering these discs. Yep. All right, I put my old 10-year Buzz back in the bag. I've had this one for a long time. I can't remember how it flies, but I thought I'd revisit it, see how it flies, especially in comparison to the ones that are in my bag. Let's see what it does. Go in. Whew. Just nice and straight, little stability. Now let's go with the one that's normally in my bag. I would say very, very, very similar. Here, this is exactly what you want. Only 10 feet, another bird. All right, so what I think is the play right now, you can see the basket hanging, or excuse me, just right here. I'm gonna put the new basket out here between these 2 trees. I've got to avoid the soccer field still, so that's why I'm not putting anything over here. We do get use out of the soccer field, but this will make it challenging. You still have the tee back here, so you have the option to go over the track And you also have the option to come up over the field here and land right here between these two trees. Let me know what you think. All right, guys, we are on to hole 3, which is 255, just dead straight ahead. One of my favorite holes out here on this course. And I'll show you once again where the other one, the other pin placement will be, but let's go zone SS here to start. That is yanked way too high, but a little deep, but it'll be putting. All right, let's go Crystal Flex one here. Those just tend to be a little bit like, I guess, glidier out of the box than some of the other ones I found, which is not a bad thing at all. Let's go ESP Flex. Do that with a little more hyzer. Yeah, not bad at all. All right, got all these discs out here a little longer than I was wanting, but I just kind of rode that wind. And so I'll give you in just a few minutes, I'll give you some of my best tips and tricks for playing in the wind. Some of the things I've learned over my 12 years of playing disc golf. And yeah, hopefully can show you. All right, about 25 left here. Bang! Man, these OG Blend Roaches are just, feels good to have them back in the bag. All right, so this is where hole 3's basket is. What I'm thinking about doing is putting the alternate basket over here a little bit shorter, making it more of a forehand shot. So you should have the option to either go with a straight backhand or a little turnover or forehand shot. All right, on to hole 4, which is 285, longest hole out here on the course. Basket is over there to the left. So tip number 1 for playing in the wind, I'm gonna do that on this particular hole. It's 285. I can get there with a putter and even a mid-range, but because of the wind typically that I find on this hole, I like to do my first tip, which is disc up. I like to make sure I'm getting there, and when you face something like a headwind or a crosswind, a lot of times it really wants to toy around with those slower discs, especially the more momentum that you put on them. So instead of doing that, what I like to do is disc up. Don't have to throw it as hard. I know it's gonna fight the wind. It's gonna have a little more consistency to it. So instead of just trying to mash on a mid-range or a putter, something that I know is gonna get easily affected by the wind, especially with the angles that I put it on, I like to just disc up, slow everything down, allow the disc to do the work for me. So on a hole like this, I'm gonna go with something pretty overstable like the Onyx. This is pretty overstable. It's not my most overstable, but right now we've got more of a crosswind than a headwind. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna hang it out wide and let the disc do the work and just kind of fade in there for me. Just like that. That should be absolutely perfect. Yeah, that is right by the pole. Woo! So as we're walking up the fairway of 4, what I'm thinking about doing is you got the long basket over here. I'm gonna make that the white basket. What I think I'm gonna do is create another little ace run here on hole 4 and put it somewhere close to where that cone is. It's about, I don't know, around 200 feet or so. Bring it out from the woods just a little bit, but have another little ace run. So you'll still have the long placement, then you'll have something that is another little ace run over here to the right. Woo! Y'all, this wind is absolutely crazy. I hope y'all, no. Y'all, this wind is crazy. I've had to adjust my tripod. Hopefully it holds up, but we're getting about 25 to 30 mile per hour gust here. But as you can tell, the Onyx fought it really well. I'm looking at probably 20 feet here, which is not a gimme in this wind, but I'd rather have this than throw a mid-range in something that's gonna flip over or I have to adjust the angles a lot more. So about 20 feet here. Bang. All right, keeping the perfect round going. Man, this wind is nuts. All right, here we are on hole 5, 175 feet. Very easy hole other than the fact you got the hill down to the right. And of course, when you're playing in wind like this, not even a 175-foot hole is a gimme. So that brings me to tip number 2. Now, if you're not a person that likes disking up or anything like that, you want to stay in the distances that you know your disc to be, that's completely fine. Understand that everybody plays a little bit different. So Tip number 2 for playing in the wind is to adjust your angles. Adjust your angles depending on what the wind is doing. So even though this is a zone, it's an overstable disc, I know in most situations, in calm situations, I can throw this flat, it's gonna go straight, have a consistent fade. However, on a day like today, the wind is picking up a little bit more, so I wanna start this out on more of a hyzer, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna allow that wind to pop it up, but the overstability of the disc is still gonna allow it to fade. So, see if I can demonstrate that here. I'm actually gonna go standstill and go more of a hyzer shot here, and I know that the overstability is still gonna allow this disc to fade over there. So right now, for reference, we get a right to left kind of headwind. So, see what this does. Kept it a little lower, and it had a tiny bit of flip up. Let's see if I can show you again. Another zone here, about the same stability. Held a little bit more, and you can see, just lands right next to the basket. All right, got the zone up here. This is exactly what I want on a windy day. Got the wind blowing right in my face here, but I only got 10 feet, so no problem at all on that hole. All right, here we are on hole 6, 220 foot, little hyzer shot. You can either throw the backhand, you even got kind of a spiked forehand, but that brings me to tip number 3 for playing in the wind, which is gonna be really good for this particular hole, is keep the disc low. One of the things you don't wanna do, if you can help it, when you're playing in the wind, is getting the disc up high, because one of the reasons you don't wanna get the disc up high is because when you expose the underneath of the flight plate, okay, that wind is just gonna take it wherever oftentimes your disc doesn't wanna go. So when you keep it low, it allows it to slice through the wind a little bit better. I like to go with something pretty overstable for that, or even understable on a hyzer flip, but it's less exposed to the wind. It's gonna allow it to travel more of the flight that you intend for it to. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Although this is only 220 feet, what I like to do is take a Raptor, go low with this so that the wind doesn't really toy with it too much. And what it's gonna do is it's gonna skip over there to the basket. So let's go with just a regular Raptor here. And as you can tell, the overstability of that disc just slides it right over there towards the basket. Yep, same exact shot. Just slides right over there, and that is fine. All right, for hole 6 is alternate pin placement. You got this basket over here. We're just gonna put the other one straight down the path, so you got a tunnel shot down to the basket. We'll be plenty short of the playground so that doesn't come into play, but a little bit past this tree right here probably. All right, guys, got the Raptor a little farther up than I wanted, but the wind has died down just a little bit. Let's see if I can catch this in before the wind picks up. But, oh, thank goodness. All right, able to keep that streak going. Got my cap wrap right there. Let's move on to the next one. All right, guys, on to probably the easiest hole out here. Hole 7, 180 feet, downhill, wide open, and this is often the hole, even though it's short, one that people have trouble with out here, especially when the wind is up, just because the wind can do a lot of different things to it. So tip number 4, the tip that I think most people are aware of when it comes to playing in the wind is throw something overstable. On this hole, typically I go with something like a zone, which is overstable. Although in wind like this, I want to make sure that that thing is not going too far. And the wind a lot of times can flip up that zone, make it go a little farther than I want it to. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to take my most overstable zone, or something even like a zone OS, and have it spike in and just sit by the basket, as opposed to something that might have a tendency to glide a little bit more. I'm actually going to show you with the machete, because even though this is very fast, this is the most overstable disc I have, and I know that it's not going to be affected by the wind. So I'm going to do a standstill, just let this thing crash in. See, a little bit lower, but it just spikes. Just like that, that might even go in the basket. Oh my goodness. Come on. Oh. Drop in there. Also, while we're up here, you see the blue basket. We're gonna put the white basket more underneath that tree back there. So it's just gonna be a little bit longer. Probably play like 210, 220, something like that. All right, guys, we got the machete over here. And in most days, this would be I would like to say a pretty high percentage putt, but on a day like today, kind of keeps swirling. It's like a headwind now, but was a tailwind just a minute ago. Let's see if we can get this putt off. Oh, thank goodness. Wow, I definitely thought that was spitting out. All right, on to hole 8, 190 feet, straight up the hill there. Feels like we've got a headwind kind of left to right here. So not a favorable wind, but this is where you can step up, throw something more stable. I've been liking this vessel. I just love the way this disc feels. So we're gonna go with it first. Whoo, that headwind is strong though. Oh my goodness, you see it just drop? Oh, that's park though. That's why you go with something more overstable. If that fades, that could go in. Ooh, hit the pole. Thought I was a little farther away than this, but got the vessel up here in a really good spot. So, only 10 feet. And that is gonna be another birdie. We got one more hole. See if we can shoot 9 under on this incredibly windy day. All right guys, hole 9, 245. That wind is picking up strong. So I'm gonna go Captain's Raptor here. 245, but I'm gonna try to spike it in there. Come on, get off of that. Okay. Oh, no, 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 no. All right, that's that, fine. Go in. Also, for hole 9, the alternate, we're gonna go all the way past the blue basket and put it up there on that hill. So it'll be the new farthest hole on the course. Thankfully went with the Captain's Raptor, and that's gonna put me at a 9 under. Well guys, that is gonna do it. Shot 9 down out here in the wind. Hopefully these tips were helpful for you. Hope you enjoyed the new redesign of First Baptist Augusta. Obviously, I will update you once we get those baskets in the ground. I'll come out here and do a round with the new basket placements. But overall, it's gonna be a great year. I'm looking forward to what 2026 has to offer. Enjoy some wonderful disc golf. Hope the weather is as good for y'all as it is for me. But guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.